Ramblers are in a fight for a playoff spot as they welcome in Region 4 Lafayette on Dr. Pepper. Friday Night Rivals presented by Village Volkswagen. Alongside Scott McMahon, I'm Chris Goforth. Glad to have you along with us tonight from Heritage High School for the Generals and the Ramblers. It's a region matchup, Scott. Region 7-3A. There are 5 teams fighting for 4 spots. Heritage clearly in that mix.
Yes, they are in that mix, and this region has been interesting. Northwest Whitfield came out just smoking red hot, and then all of a sudden came back to reality a little bit, and Heritage beat them on a muddy field just a couple of weeks ago. So it'll be an interesting matchup here. Obviously, with Lafayette, they've been a little bit in a transition type mentality as far as getting their program to where they want to be. Been a tough year for them, but Heritage has suffered through some injuries too that have really kind of hampered them here lately in the last couple of weeks, especially at the running back position.
Lafayette still looking for their first win of the year. The Ramblers come in. They are 0-8 on the season. Let's send it downstairs to the field. Dave Keelan standing by with a look at tonight's keys to the game, brought to you by Village Volkswagen.
All right, Chris, thanks for that. Let's go ahead and jump straight into your keys. First up for the Ramblers of Lafayette, they are looking to execute our scheme, and they're going to try to slow down that Heritage offense by containing number 1 and number 11, and then manage defensive pressure. For Heritage, their keys are win the turnover battle, win explosive plays battle, and the key component for every team is win the lowest penalty battle. In other words, play your game and execute and do it without mistakes. Guys, back to you.
All right, thank you very much, Dave Keelan. We'll have our Food City kickoff coming up when we return. It's our Tennessee Army National Guard coin toss from Heritage as the Ramblers and the Generals square off on Dr. Pepper. Friday Night Rivals presented by Village Volkswagen on the CW.
Room near you.
Back at Heritage High School as the Generals welcome in the Lafayette Ramblers. Chris Goforth alongside Scott McMahon. Glad to have you with us tonight. Tonight and all season, we have the Tennessee Army National Guard join us for the coin toss. We'll hear from them coming up later in the show. Heritage won the toss And the Generals have elected to receive. So we'll get a chance to see this Heritage offense to start things under the direction of head coach E.K. Slaughter. He has taken Heritage to the playoffs 8 consecutive years. They're trying to make it 9 in a row this year.
He's done a really good job as he's been here 11 years now and just has really transformed this program, well, this football team into a program, if you know what I'm saying. Just a fantastic community involvement. And they always have a lot of players coming out. Big band, big cheerleaders and dance team. It's a big deal.
Gage Cole to kick it off for Lafayette. It's a high and end-over-end kick. Luke Fitzsimmons has it at the 10-yard line. Fitzsimmons gets out shy of the 30 before he's brought down there. Heritage comes in. They are 4-3 on the year. This offense averaging 27 points per game. Caden Height, the quarterback, he threw it 41 times last week. E.K. Slaughter says, looking for a little bit of balance now. Scott, those 41 pass attempts really predicated because his top 2 running backs, Brody James and Braden Slaughter, have missed time this year with injuries.
Looks like they're going to start Noah Pierce, number 5, as the running back. As you mentioned, they're down to 3rd, 4th, 5th string, and these guys are players at other positions. It's not like they're, 9th graders or anything, but yes, it does look like Noah Pierce, the senior running back, number 5, will get the start tonight. And
it's Pierce that gets the carry, and
Big
Pierce
hole.
Finds room out to the 40-yard line on first down. Pierce had a 99.5-yard touchdown reception earlier this year.
Wow, and Kalis Finley, you'll see, makes the stop here. Number 4, I got a hunch we'll be calling his name a bunch. He plays a little running back for the Ramblers and really a super good athlete. Coach Ethan Thompson told us earlier in the week, it's not often that we get out in the game and he's not the best athlete on the field. We're talking about number 4, Kalis Finley for Lafayette. Here is your CHI Memorial first down.
They go back on the ground again to Pierce. And Pierce out across the 45 up to about the 47. And a gain of 7 on first down.
Give Finley 2 tackles on 2 plays so far earlier in this game.
Kalis Finley coming into this game, 31 tackles on the year, including 2 for loss. He is a 4-year starter, and he is tremendous. Looking forward to seeing him offensively when he can get the ball in his hands. There's Big Woody's Tree Service starting lineup for the Heritage Generals. They graduated their top 6 offensive linemen from a season ago, so that is a relatively new group up front. Here is the screen thrown to Cody Bryant, and Cody Bryant gets across midfield. He'll take it into Rambler territory. Sorry, Scott.
Yeah, okay. I was going to mention the fact that Cody Bryant, when we were showing the lineups there, keep an eye on him. I wish I'd have jumped in there more because he makes the first play after we show those lineups. But Cody Bryant, an interesting story because he's a junior, and he is essentially the 2nd leading receiving as far as yardage goes in the entire state of Georgia. He's had an impressive junior year so far for Heritage.
And he goes wide to the top of your screen. And it's Pierce.
Big hole.
And Pierce finds room, gets inside the 40-yard line. And Heritage able to run the football on the ground. That's something that you go back 2 weeks ago in a loss to Gilmer. They lost 35-20. And again, Caden Hyde had to throw it 41 times in that game. And E.K. Slaughter told us this week when we met with him, he said, we've got to find a little bit of balance in this offense. There's the Lafayette defense, your Big Woody's Tree Service starting lineup. Ramblers come in. They too are coming in off a loss to Gilmer, 48-7. Hyde on second down. Back to Pierce. He's got a first down and more. Pierce gets to the 31-yard line.
You got some really good offensive line blocking here. Another CHI Memorial first down. On the right side, Knowledge Barnes, Kane Romano. And then in that case, you saw the A-gap basically with Baker Capehart at center. Landon Whitten at their left guard. All these guys except for Barnes, are underclassmen, juniors or sophomores.
We talked about Brody James being injured earlier. It's James that's in there now, the 6 foot, 170-pound junior. He's missed the last couple of weeks. His first carry against Lafayette, he'll take it inside the Dr. Pepper maroon zone, inside the 15-yard line before he's rolled down.
Trey Shropshire, I'll get that right eventually.
It's easy for you to say.
He makes the stop here, 17. You'll see come up and make contact, and not until a nice carry, as you mentioned, by Brody James, who's been injured. And good to see, if you're a Heritage fan, you're good. Happy to see number 20 back in the lineup. There's your Dr. Pepper maroon zone.
E.K. Slaughter told us this week he would dress and he would score a touchdown. Brody James, 15-yard touchdown run, and Heritage is on the board first.
Brody James has been just one of their best athletes, obviously, on the entire roster. Chattanooga Dental Care, touchdown. Again, incredible blocking up front from that offensive line of Heritage.
It's a 7-play drive for the Generals. 6 runs, 1 pass, and 6 points on the board as Jake Collette is out to tack on the extra point. Collette with a 49-yard field goal to his credit this year. And Jake Collette makes it a 7-0 lead. 7-0 Heritage on top of Lafayette. Ramblers ball when we return. Dr. Pepper Friday Night Rivals presented by Village Volkswagen.
Got a good thing going on.
7-0 Heritage leads Lafayette, 9:42 remaining. First quarter, Crisco Fourth, Scott McMahon with you from Heritage High School as the Generals take the football and they take it 70 yards in 7 plays. Brody James back from an injury, making his presence felt early. 2 carries and a touchdown. Ready for the Food City kickoff. Collette will kick it away. Kalis Finley back deep, along with Bryson Pinson for Lafayette as they hope for a chance to return this one. Maybe for the first time this year, Scott, we can talk a little bit about football weather on a Friday night.
It's nice out here. Perfect, actually.
Collette hits the line drive. It'll go over the head of Finley and into the end zone. Bring it out. And Lafayette will start on their own 20-yard line. Well, Kalis Finley, we've talked about him defensively. You saw him make a couple of tackles. He is the guy, the centerpiece of this offense for Lafayette. Scott, he's played some quarterback this year. He's thrown for 620 yards and 4 touchdowns. He's also rushed for 418 yards and 3 touchdowns. We expect to see him maybe do a little both tonight. Dax Edwards, 5'11 junior, will get the start at quarterback.
Finley, a big guy, 263, 200. So not only a tremendous athlete, but also got some size about him.
And the pass is caught by Finley, and he is cut down quickly by Cooper Chapelier as soon as he makes the reception.
You think they're keying on him?
Yeah.
You think they know that 4 is going to touch it? And, of course, 4 makes the tackle there with Chapelier. Chapelier, a junior, 6'2", 170, a little undersized, but Coach Slaughter says very intelligent player and just a fantastic character kid.
They want to try to get Kalis Finley about 20 touches a game. Scott, you go back to when we saw Lafayette a season ago as you get a look at that Big Woody's Tree Service starting lineup. as we've got our first penalty flag of the evening. But you go back a year ago, Kalis Finley was carrying the ball an average of 29 times a game at the end of the year last year.
Just a total workhorse. Heck of a basketball player, from what I understand, too.
Yeah,
encroachment on the defense. 5 yards, first down.
Little mental mistake for Heritage that Lafayette wants to capitalize on, I can guarantee you.
Ball goes back to the 20-yard line, and here comes Finley again. Finds a hole, squirts free to the 25. Finley with 79 attempts, 418 yards, and 3 touchdowns. It was Romano that made the stop for Heritage. This is a Heritage defense that's given up 24 points per game, having to replace their top 3 tacklers from a year ago. We talked about Chapelier and how good he's been. He leads the team with 50 tackles. Finley hit in the backfield, and Finley will be ridden down quickly. It was Kane Romano again.
Romano again. It just looks like they're going to say, we think he's going to touch it every single play, so we're really going to key on him and stop him, and then we're going to make the Ramblers try to beat us somewhere else, whether that's Dax Edwards, the quarterback, and that receiving team. Here's a quick look at their defensive lineup because they're getting ready to get the football back, but Baez is a really strong defensive lineman, 6'4", 220. Also, you've got Travis Faulkner, Braden Hudson, Chapelier, who we already named as the linebackers.
Gage Cole will punt, and it's blocked. Loose ball, scooped up on the run, taking it in for the score. It's Cooper Chapelier.
Chapelier, I don't think he got the block, but boy, he got the gift afterwards, taking that.
It was Tristan Simmons that got the block.
There you go, Simmons with the block. You'll see it again here. Big rush from Heritage. He had no chance. No chance, and a nice bounce right into Chapelier's hands. He takes it to the end zone for a quick score by the Heritage Generals.
The scoop and score, and Heritage set to go up by 2 scores, 7:33 remaining in the first quarter, and a rough start for Lafayette.
Look at this.
And they'll go for 2 and convert.
Wow. Wow. Noah.
That was Noah Pierce.
But what a unique lineup. You look for this, I guess it's called swinging gate, where the lineman wants to come over and make that adjustment. They don't. They just snap it to him and hand him, and he's untouched. Wow, a little trickeration from E.K. Slaughter and the Heritage coaching staff. That is well designed, well executed by the Generals.
15-0 Heritage in the lead. Dr. Pepper, Friday Night Rivals, presented by Village Volkswagen of Chattanooga.
City.
15-0 Heritage on top of Lafayette. 7:33 to go. First quarter coming up at the half. We've got our Ultimate Roofing halftime report. We'll check in with our friends from Shrunk 3D. Dave Keelan is going to find out what's on the lot this week at Village Volkswagen of Chattanooga. Looking forward to that. It's all coming up on our Ultimate Roofing halftime report. 7:33 remaining in the first. We got a lot of time left, and once again, Colette's kick goes into the end zone, bring it out to the 20. And for the second straight drive, Lafayette begins at their own 20-yard line. Here, the Ramblers looking for some consistency on offense tonight.
And if you talk about Collette, he puts the ball in the end zone a whole lot when it comes to kickoffs. He's got a big leg, and you mentioned the 49-yarder earlier in the season, but he can also he doesn't allow much return yardage on kickoffs.
Well, and he's also averaging around 40 yards a punt too. So pick your poison. Edwards, the quarterback, brings a man in motion. Toss sweep out, and Finley picks up a couple. Where he's finally pulled down. Lafayette, coached by Ethan Thompson, a standout in high school actually here at Heritage, so a little bit of a homecoming for the head coach of the Ramblers. He was a good player, a two-way player for Tim James, was a part of the first class that went all the way through here at Heritage High School. He told us he was a freshman the first year the school opened. In his first season, has done an outstanding job with the Lafayette wrestling program. Edwards now under pressure. Rolling out. Has a man. Incomplete pass. Was aiming for Braxton Beavers.
Beavers was his target, just too much pressure from that Heritage front, and looked like Beavers had his foot out of bounds, but he was able to catch it, but just, out of bounds. So brings up a 2nd and long.
Third down 7. Edwards on the year is rushed for 138 yards. Here he is off play action. He'll throw over the middle. Got a man in stride. Across midfield and into General's territory. It was Braxton Beavers.
Yeah, Beavers gets a seam up the middle there, up the hash mark, and was able to make a catch. He was pretty wide open. Nice throw by Dax Edwards. And Braxton Beavers getting it done, that junior wide receiver.
Beavers, the guy that Coach Ethan Thompson says he's like having an extra coach on the field. He's the one holding guys accountable, make sure guys are lined up correctly. As Finley met immediately, as soon as he takes the handoff, it was Braden Hudson there to deliver the blow.
Jake Baez also, and going back to Beavers, Coach Thompson, I laughed when he said, because he's the team enforcer. He makes everybody, he holds all the players accountable. And I guess you need one of those in any sport, really, but specifically in football. If you're going to have, the discipline that you need to win on Friday nights, you need a guy like that.
This is the type of situation, Scott, for an offense that's struggling, you want to stay out of. 2nd down and 13, and down goes Finley for another loss. They'll drop him back on the opposite side of the 50-yard line. And again, tremendous penetration up front. As you get a look at it on the replay, it was Baez.
Baez with the tackle. Also Angel Romero in there from his nose guard position. I mean, at this point in time, they're just whipping the Ramblers' offensive front and getting in the backfield with quickness, first of all, and second of all, kind of with ease.
3rd down, 16 from their own 49-yard line. Here's Edwards looking to throw, has a man wide open, tipped and incomplete. He had a receiver over on the far side of the field up top that was wide open, and instead he tried to go back to Porter Centel. And we've got a injured player. That's Luke Fitzsimmons. He's the best cover player for Heritage.
The guy had open was Luke Hopkins down the left sideline, and just did not see him because he was way behind the defender. Yeah, and you don't like to see this. That's Fitzsimmons, senior wide receiver, 5'11", 175. Coach Slaughter said he's the best cover guy we've got. And there you see Coach Slaughter with the headset on, walking out to see his receiver, Fitzsimmons.
Well, you certainly hope this is nothing severe for Luke Fitzsimmons and his 25 tackles. Interesting, I think this may be the first time we've ever had this happen on Friday Night Rivals, Scott, at least that I can remember, where two teams come into this game having lost to the same team in their previous game. It was last week, Lafayette lost to Gilmer 48-7. Heritage was off last week, but you go back 2 weeks ago, they lost on the road against Gilmer 35-20.
Gilmer's for real, too.
Aren't they?
That is tough team in the state of Georgia.
Well,
Great to see Fitzsimmons back up and walking to the sideline.
We talked about it in the open. This 7-3A region is just a dogfight. Calhoun unbeaten at 3-0. But you've got.
And they started off so poorly, and now all of a sudden, guess what? Who's back?
Now you've got Adairsville, Gilmer, Heritage all behind them with identical 2-1 marks. And there's another block kick. Simmons again with the block. It's scooped up by Bryan, and Cody Bryan takes it back for the score.
Wow. As we were talking about when Lafayette was on offense, I think you're going to get a celebration penalty. Looked like that was choreographed a little bit. Given what is it called, the sprinkler?
That is twice.
That is unbelievable.
That Tristan Simmons has blocked punts.
And here you go with the sprinkler move. Oh, not going to show it. Well, okay. It was illegal. It was a celebration. Okay, now let's see how Lafayette defends this crazy swinging gate that caught him off guard the first time that Heritage ran it.
Touchdown. After the play, having unsportsmanlike on the offensive team. Number 8, excessive celebration, taunting. It could have been a bunch of numbers. One of number 11, 8 was right there in the middle. No, it was a group celebration in the end zone.
There you go.
Could have been a bunch of numbers. Giving them the business.
Giving them the business down there. They were giving them the water sprinkler. Come on.
Big.
That's funny. Good. We got a comedic white hat tonight. I like that.
I like it. I like it. Well, this situation last time, Heritage ended up going for 2. Now it looks like we'll get the extra point attempt here from Jake Collette. Collette's kick is good, and it is a 22-0 lead for Heritage. And the Generals have had the ball just once tonight, Scott.
Wow, that's crazy. They can score in bunches.
You are here tonight with Ringgold Primary and Ringgold
4:56 to go, first quarter. Heritage with a 22-0 lead over Lafayette. Let's go downstairs, check in with Dave Keelan. Dave?
Yeah, guys, it's our first feel of college or fall football weather this week. It's a little cool down here. I broke my jacket out for the first time this week. I'm pretty happy about that. And, as you can see, special teams playing a big key in tonight's game. We didn't really see that one coming as far as our keys to the game, but, here we are. So sitting 22-0 right now with Heritage after the 2 block punts returned for touchdowns.
Scotty, just feels like the difference in this game right now has been the play of the offensive and defensive lines. We've seen Heritage offensively be able to establish themselves, get a great push, and
get some big holes going.
On the other side, just too much leakage and penetration. And E.K. Slaughter's got to be pleased with the way his guys up front are playing.
He has to be, because they are really playing well. And, you talk about the psyche of an 0-8 team. Lafayette comes in 0-8, 0-4 in the region. And just the fact that when stuff starts going wrong, which is exactly what's happened here in the first quarter, it's hard to keep your head up and think that you're going to have a chance to see some success. So trying to get over that hurdle, not only tonight, but as they move forward, will be a tough task for Ethan Thompson and his coaching staff.
That was the one thing that Coach Thompson did talk about this week, is Collette will put this one up, and here's Finley with a chance to return it at the 15-yard line, and Finley stuck at the 30-yard line.
Man.
What a hit coming
Chapelier.
downfield. It was Chapelier, who's had a heck of a game so far.
He has 6'2", 170, and he put it all into Finley on that tackle. That was a hit a brick wall type of situation.
But Ethan Thompson talked a little bit about, as you get a look at this replay, watch that hit, boom. But that was something Ethan Thompson talked about, is the fact that he said, look, our culture is still good. Our guys are staying positive.
They're super young.
We understand what we're dealing with here. It is a young football team. He expects to have 9 starters back, and Edwards tosses it up. It's an incomplete pass. He was in trouble in a hurry. There comes the flag.
Grounding, because there was no receiver in the area.
That was Chapelier.
That pressure was crazy. tries to just get rid of it. Unfortunately, there was no receiver in the area. Nothing but a bunch of offensive line.
Look, we got to pick a player of the game coming up later on.
On the quarterback, be 5 yards, loss of down.
We got to pick our player of the game coming up a little later on. Cooper Chapelier is making himself a front runner.
Yes,
he's the leader in the clubhouse right now.
I would say him or Cody Bryan, but yeah, Chapelier is really, he's come to play tonight. Junior, like we said, 6'2", 170 pounds.
Second down and 25 after the mark off for Lafayette. Ball will go back into the 15-yard line, inside the 15. And a second down and long. Lafayette has had their last 2 punt attempts blocked, and they've both been ran back for touchdowns. Here's Edwards. Has time, pump fake, drops it off short. Kalis Finley with blockers on the far side of the field. He'll get back to the 30-yard line.
Back to the original line of scrimmage. Nice gain on the little screen pass to Finley. But you can tell Dax Edwards, the quarterback, he's feeling that pressure because his feet are moving, and he knows that it's just a matter of time before that General's defensive front gets to him.
That's Lafayette offense. They lost 3 linemen this season with season-ending injuries, including 2 sophomore guards that were expected to be starters. Off play action, Edwards throws, picked off. Intercepted by Tristan Simmons.
Tristan Simmons, 6'2", 170, just kind of sitting in the right place at the right time. Ball was a little bit overthrown, and it hits number 10 right between the 1 and the 0. For an interception, put that on the stat page.
Pass was intended for Bryson Cleghorn, but instead it's picked off by Simmons. All right, now he's blocked 2 punts, and he's intercepted a pass. So
right.
Tristan Simmons has entered the chat for
yes,
player
he
of the game.
has. We'll have to put him in that group with Chapelier, Cody Bryan.
We're gonna make Dave Keelan make that selection.
Okay,
we're gonna completely remove ourselves from that vote tonight. May be a tough one. 4 minutes to go, first quarter. Heritage will take over in plus territory as they will begin the drive at the Lafayette 40-yard line. Off the play fake. Wide open on the throwback to Bryan, and he's got all kinds of room.
He heard you talking, Chris. He wants his name at the top there.
And Ryan will step out of bounds at around the 10-yard line. Cody Bryan, Scott, you talked about it, 986 yards receiving this year. This may be enough to put him over the 1,000-yard mark on a gain of 30.
Yeah, I would say it does. And again, he comes out of the backfield on the wheel route, and absolutely nobody covered. So Cody Bryan can make that play about 100 times out of 100. And now you see the Generals on the march again, and we're not even in. We've still got under 4 minutes to play in the first quarter into the Dr. Pepper Maroon zone.
Back on the ground they go. It's Killian Smith. And Smith will take it inside the 5-yard line. Looks like he gets to the 2.
Killian Smith, we mentioned the injuries that they've had at running back. So they've had Noah Pierce, who started. Of course, Cody Bryan was in there making a couple plays. But you have Killian Smith, a senior, and also Cooper McCrary, a sophomore running back that can get some carries in this Generals offense.
We haven't seen McCrary yet, but we expect to. It's Smith who stays in now behind Height. And here he comes again. Smith diving for that goal line as the penalty flag comes out. So hold on.
Threw it right at the feet of 59, Caden Palmer, 6'3", 260-pound left tackle, number 59.
Holding on the offense. 10 yards, replay, second down.
Holding on the Generals.
So that'll back up Heritage.
Second down.
Cody Bryan in with this play from the sideline. Caden Height, the quarterback, his dad, an assistant coach here at Heritage. They go back to Smith, and he'll try to push the pile forward, gets inside the 10. Caden Height, a sophomore, 5'9", 155 pounds. His first year as a starter, but I think the interesting note for him, Scott, is that he stands to be the third 3-year starting quarterback for E.K. Slaughter at Heritage, which is, you talk about him being here 11 years.
That's 9 of them. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's consistency, and that's
guys.
exactly what you want if you're going to grow a program, which is what E.K. Slaughter has done.
Well, and I think it explains why his offenses have been so good, because he gets experienced guys. Here's the short toss. It goes to Pierce, and Pierce is in for the score.
Noah Pierce, senior, 6 foot 210, and plays tight end, basically. Physical kind of guy. And again, wide open in the flat. Steers it, takes off, and scores a touchdown.
That makes it 28-0 as we await the extra point, as Heritage has blocked 2 punts in this first quarter and ran them back for scores. We saw Brody James back from an injury with a 15-yard touchdown run. And now it's Noah Pierce with a touchdown pass from Caden Height. Collette on to attempt the extra point. And it is 29-0. Heritage leads Lafayette. That is a 4-play, 40-yard drive and a 29-0 lead.
Heritage just has a number of different athletes who can contribute. We mentioned Brian. We mentioned Noah Pierce. As you talked about, Caden Height, sophomore quarterback that really has a lot of options when he looks, to have a chance to find a target, or, of course, in their running game, they've been pretty spectacular tonight as well.
Scott, want to take this opportunity and say thanks to some of our sponsors, folks that make these games possible, like Dr. Pepper, Scott's Furniture, Big Woody's Tree Service, CHI Memorial, Food City, Shrunk 3D, the Tennessee Army National Guard. Well, you talk about all the weapons that E.K. Slaughter has at his disposal in this offense. Maybe the one guy we haven't talked about yet, and the guy that's not going to go tonight, but they hope to get him back in time for next week, is Braden Slaughter. Slaughter's rushed for 610 yards this season, averaging over 100 yards a game on the ground as we get our Food City kickoff. Goes into the end zone.
Does
he'll
it?
pick it up at the 1-yard line. And he is blasted at the 10. On the return, that was Bryson Pinson. Pinson was trying to, I guess, hoping that ball was going to roll on into the end zone,
Right. And it didn't. It just died right at the half-yard line.
He picked it up inside the 1, and he brings it out to the 10. So Lafayette in the hole, 29-0. And now they'll start this drive
And
back
as
deep.
the old saying goes, sometimes when it rains, it pours, and that's what it's looked like for Lafayette, really throughout the entire season, but especially early here tonight.
Back to Heritage for just a minute. It's going to be another encroachment penalty against Heritage.
Encroachment on the defense. 5 yards, first down.
We talk about a team that's, trying to make the push, get back into the playoffs. They're working on seeding now. How high in this region can we climb? If they can bring back a guy like Braden Slaughter, could make a real difference in that Heritage offense.
No question.
First down and 5 now for Lafayette.
He, of course, the son of the head coach, E.K. Slaughter, so he's grown up with football for sure.
Here's the toss out. Kalis Finley popped hard, just shy of the 20-yard line.
Big tackle Tristan Simmons there on the stop.
There he is again. He's had himself a night. He's already blocked 2 punts in this game. Both have been returned for touchdowns. Pickup of 3 by Finley, and it brings up now 2nd down and 2. The 18-yard line. Edwards will throw. Pressure right in his face. He'll have to throw it away. And there comes the penalty flag. This will be the second intentional grounding penalty against Lafayette.
You just can't do that. I mean, there's no receiver out there. You're not, outside of the hash marks. That's an easy call for the white hat on that one. I mean, you can't just chuck it at, to an empty space. It's going to be intentional grounding every single time.
Intentional grounding on the quarterback. Be half the distance to the goal. Loss of down.
That's the biggest thing, is loss of down.
Third down, and back them up half the distance of the goal. So the ball will go back inside the 5-yard line. Looks like they'll mark it at about the 3. Dax Edwards will take this snap from inside the end zone. Third down and 17 for Lafayette. Here's Edwards on the rollout. Throws on the run, drops it off to Braxton Beavers. And Beavers, a little safe throw, and again out to about the 8-yard line, and it brings up now 4th down. Well, last 2 times we have seen Lafayette punt the football, Heritage has been able to block it and take it back for a touchdown. Now you're going to punt near your own end zone, Scott.
Yeah. And you're still going to have to, somebody's going to have to block somebody when it comes to Heritage penetration on special teams, man. They've been in the punter's face just immediately. Gage Cole hasn't had much time to get the football off.
4th down and 11.
And they're coming again.
Here they come. He gets it off this time, and it's a nice kick. Taken at the 45-yard line. On the return to the 35. Caught from behind is Logan Cheatwood and pulled down.
Number 12.
Cheatwood. Chris Duncan. In there on one of the stops. One of the guys that make the stop.
29-0. Heritage with a lead with 29 seconds left to go in this first quarter. Heritage has scored on a run, on a pass, and 2 blocked punts that have been taken back for scores. 4 receivers in the game. Caden Hyatt out of the pistol. And now he'll motion out Cody Bryant, and it's an empty backfield. Looking to throw, going for Bryant, middle of the field, makes one miss. On his way, touchdown Heritage. One play, 35 yards. Touchdown Cody Bryant.
Chattanooga Dental Care touchdown. I think Mr. Bryant is trying to regain that lead in the state of Georgia as far as receiving yards. As we said, he came in this week at number 2 in the entire state and has done nothing tonight to hurt those numbers for sure. Cody Bryant, a junior. Electric with the football in his hands, Coach E.K. Slaughter tells us. And he can catch it in space. When he does, he's very dangerous. He comes in with almost 20 yards per catch. And again, I don't think any of his numbers tonight have hurt him on that stat either.
Cody Bryant, that is his 7th receiving touchdown of the year. Better than 60 yards receiving in the first quarter. There's a look at the Heritage Junior.
Yeah, not a huge guy, 5'10", 170, but boy, he's got a knack for getting open and, as we said, quick feet. So when he does catch the football, he usually makes something happen that's pretty spectacular.
E.K. Slaughter told us we're talking about, Cody Bryant and his possibilities at the next level. He said, I feel like there's a chance for him to be a slot receiver somewhere in college. He's a guy that I think his coach drew comparisons to a Julian Edelman type.
And I think that's a perfect comparison. I mean, from what we've seen, great hands, quick as a cat, and like you said, as a slot receiver, most times in college you're going to want a guy that's 6'1", 6'2", 6'3", or whatever on those outside receivers. But the slot receiver can do so much damage if they're super quick, like Cody Bryant is.
Bryant, as Scott mentioned, number 2 in the state in receiving yards. He is number 1 in Class 3A in the state of Georgia. He trails Keon Standifer out of Athens Academy. Standard for went over 1,000 yards last week. Of course, Heritage was off last week.
Right. So that just might be a case of more games played.
A 36-0 lead at the end of the first quarter. You start to wonder how much longer do we see Cody Bryant. Here's a short kick taken at the 25-yard line out to the 35 and the 40. And he's finally down at around the 42-yard line. It was Aiden Keaton on the return.
And obviously, by far, the best field positions to start this possession that they've had all night long with Lafayette.
Still trying to wrestle for the football as the referees come over to unstack it. No surprise that Tristan Simmons would be the guy at the bottom of that pile.
Right.
Well, an impressive start here by the Generals. Heritage on the year 4-3 overall. They are 2-1 in Region 7-3A. They're part of that group with Adairsville and Gilmer that are all jumbled up there. Gilmer would hold the advantage over Heritage by virtue of the tiebreaker.
The head-to-head winning, right? What, 2 weeks ago you said?
Yeah. And you've got Adairsville and Northwest Whitfield playing tonight, so
sideline warning, I think is what he called. I think his mic cut out in and out there, so not sure I heard it correctly, but
I'll mention that Adairsville Northwest Whitfield game that's happening tonight. The winner of that game pretty much assures themselves they can do no worse than fourth in this region. And here's the give on the end around as they try to come to the near side with Porter Centel.
You're going to get tired of calling Tristan Simmons' name because he makes the tackle there as well. He's all over it tonight, boy.
First quarter winding down. A hot start for the Heritage Generals. Marching on the Ramblers, 36-0 into the first quarter. Back to Heritage after this. It's Dr. Pepper Friday Night Rivals presented by Village Volkswagen of Chattanooga.
Sonic $1.99 menu. Live free, eat Sonic.
36-0 Heritage on top of Lafayette. They've done it on the ground. They've done it through special teams. The block punt. Cooper Chapelier picks it up. Takes it in for the score. Tristan Simmons blocked both. Two return block punts for scores. A passing touchdown for the quarterback in Caden Height. And Cody Bryan with a pass reception as well. Edwards in trouble now, and Edwards is going to be buried back inside the 40-yard line. Looks like they'll mark him at the 40 on the sack. And getting up off the bottom that was Kane Romano. Kane Romano
he's been all over the place tonight too.
Pretty much unblockable up front, it's felt like.
Yeah, that's great effort. Mason Flynn was in there as well, number 60.
So 3rd down and long for Lafayette. And here comes the whistle. And we've got a timeout that is asked for by Lafayette. So
Prior
Ethan
to the
Thompson.
snap. Timeout, Lafayette.
Ethan Thompson will ask to bring his squad over. Coach will have a conversation there. Thompson, the last 3 years, he's been the wrestling coach at Lafayette. Was named the head coach in March and then had a baby girl born in June. Been a big year for him. It's his first opportunity to guide a football program. He had been an assistant at Lafayette the last couple of years, but had been helping on the defensive side of the ball. He becomes the head coach. He's his own offensive coordinator.
And then has a baby girl June 7th. Let's see, head coach plus offensive coordinator plus dad equals busy plate.
Equals no sleep.
No sleep, busy plate. A lot of early mornings. We can pile on.
He took over a wrestling program at Lafayette that had only had about 15 kids in it, and he has grown that thing and not only grown the program, but really stabilized things there from a wrestling standpoint. They've got a proud history of good wrestlers at Lafayette. Edwards on the roll now, looking downfield, and he'll just throw it away. It was intended on a crossing route for Luke Hopkins.
4th down. Sponsored by Guardian Investment.
So another 4th down. This will bring up 4th down and 11. And we'll see another Lafayette punt here, this time from their own 40-yard line. Well, you can't tell me that there's not a lot of folks over on that far side of the field that when they go into punt formation, they kind of start to hold their breath.
Yeah.
Gage Cole got away a Butte his last time. And he'll have time this time. Soars another nice one. High kick, fair catch, called for and made back at the 25-yard line. Well, look, you give Gage Cole some time, Scott. He can show off the leg a little bit.
That was sky high. But yeah, at least he didn't get that pressure in his face like he was getting in the first quarter.
So Heritage will send out the offense. Generals in front, 36-0. With 11:02 remaining in this second quarter of play. Tonight, be sure to get all the scores and all the highlights from around the area. It's the Sideline Spotlight. You get unrivaled high school coverage, and they'll talk SEC football as well. That's coming up 10:30, streaming on Fox Chattanooga's Facebook page, and tonight at 11 on News Channel 9. Heritage with a 36-0 lead over Lafayette. 1 minute into the second quarter. And back on the ground, finding room is Killian Smith.
Also off the number 16, Cody Smith.
Smith goes for a gain of about 6 to the 31.
6 yards on the play. 2nd down.
Killian Smith, a senior, 6'1", 190, and also, as we mentioned, a contributor at that running back position as they nurse some guys back to health that can play. But the rotation has, been good tonight against Lafayette.
Well, and E.K. Slaughter said that was his biggest concern. He said it's health and my running back position because I've got, 2 running backs out. Now, he's been able to get one of those guys back tonight. I'm not sure, given the score, how much of Brody James we're going to see the rest of the night. We'll have this may go against Lafayette this time for an encroachment. We've seen 2 of those against Heritage already.
Encroachment on the defense. That is 5 yards. That will be enough for a first down.
Out to the 36-yard line and a first down.
First down is sponsored by
for Heritage. Heritage a season ago, a team that struggled to find ways to sustain drives. And I think that, you know, we've seen that improve for them this year over last year. And certainly Caden Hyde at quarterback has been a big part of that. Here goes Killian to the end. Penalty flag thrown back in the backfield as Killian struggles across midfield, takes it into Rambler territory, but this may be coming back.
Holding on the offense, 10 yards, replay, first down.
Just a little too much jersey grab on the offensive lineman for Heritage. See if we can get another look at it, but maybe it was Travis Faulkner, but either way, it comes back and Heritage penalized. Essentially a 1st and 20 is what we'll see here.
Heritage at 4-3 on the year. They got off to a 2-0 start with wins over Christian Heritage and LFO. We talked with E.K. Slaughter this week about the start to his season because we mentioned those 2 wins, but they had LFO, Ringgold, and Gordon Lee, their 3 biggest rivals, all right in a row early in the year. Here's the screen. It is complete to Bryant. Watch him go. Cody Bryant not able to walk the tightrope down the near sideline. He'll step out of bounds.
But you kind of saw the electricity that Coach Slaughter talks about, his ability, once he gets the football in his hands, just that quickness. He's at full speed right there, and he
is
a tremendous year.
How about the block by Tristan Simmons out there, too?
Yeah, not a bad block at all by Simmons. Getting in that passing game as far as blocking goes. CHI Memorial first down for the Generals.
Ball goes out to the 49-yard line. Heritage has scored on every offensive possession and 2 special teams touches tonight. Smith. And Smith, some tough running. Inside the 45, he'll go to the 44. Pickup of about 7 on first down. Well, I think, look, you're starting to see some guys in Brody James healthy. They may get Braden Slaughter back next week. And nice job by Killian Smith, who's played some wide receiver this year for Heritage as well, getting a lot of touches tonight. Opportunity to build a little bit of depth in that backfield.
Very versatile player. Tight end, linebacker, could play it running back, as we are watching right now.
And here he goes for a first down. He'll push the pile to the 40-yard line. I think that's one of those that we see it a lot now, Scott, and we've talked about it these last couple of weeks at other programs, but the successful programs, they are always looking to find ways to get guys involved, get your athletes on the field, as many of them as you can at whatever the position may be. Look at all these guys that play different positions for Heritage in a given game. Noah Pierce with a receiving touchdown tonight. We also saw him run in for 2. He plays some tight end. They'll find ways to get him the ball as well. Off play action. Here's Height to throw. Down the field, caught by Simmons. Simmons gets to the 10-yard line and a first down for Heritage.
Stop made by Trey Schreier.
There you go again.
I'll get it right eventually by the time the 4th quarter rolls around. But that's a really nice throw from Height. And to your point, what we see, and you're talking about getting the best guys on the field, regardless of kind of the position that they play, it seems like the best programs that we see, throughout the years have that Swiss Army knife guy, or maybe 3 or 4 of them, right? That they can play tight end, and can play, linebacker, can play different positions, and just wants to be on the field and be a part of it, as opposed to saying, well, I'm the starter at X position, and by golly, that's what I want to play. Into the Dr. Pepper Maroon Zone. But those guys are, to me, invaluable. The ones that'll just do whatever it takes to win a football game on a Friday night and they don't care who gets the credit or how many touches they get or all that kind of stuff. Those to me are when it comes to high school football, those are the best guys. If you can have a number 3, 5, 6, I don't know, you're going to be pretty successful in my opinion.
Second down and goal to go from the 7-yard line. Here goes Smith again. Smith inside the 5. He'll touch a knee down at around the 3-yard line.
Killian Smith is one of those guys. Noah Pierce is one of those guys. Even to a certain extent, Luke Fitzsimmons. I think just guys that love being out there, man.
So a third down and goal now for Heritage. Smith stays in the backfield. They'll put him in tight, and the handoff goes to Smith, and he's in. Touchdown, Generals.
Chattanooga Dental Care touchdown. Another extremely impressive effort by that front 5, the offensive line for Heritage. He wasn't touched till he got in the end zone, and that's 6 points for the Generals.
Scott, if my math is right, and it is often questionable, Caden Height has not thrown an incomplete pass yet.
Wow. Wow. When he has thrown, he has had plenty of time and is super accurate.
He is 6 of 6 in this first half. Jake Collette's extra point is good. It is 43-0. Heritage on top of Lafayette midway through the second quarter. Stay with us. We've got more when we return. Back to Heritage after this on Dr. Pepper Friday Night Rivals, presented by Village Volkswagen of Chattanooga.
Finance savings.
It's 43-0 Heritage on top of Lafayette midway through the second quarter. Chris Goforth, Scott McMahon, Dave Keelan. We are at Heritage High School tonight. Coming up, we'll have our Ultimate Roofing halftime report. It's a recap of the first half of action here at Heritage. Plus, visit with our friends from the Tennessee Army National Guard. That's coming up about 6.5 minutes from now. Lafayette set to get the ball back. Ramblers have had 2 punts blocked tonight. They've thrown an interception, and their last 2 possessions have gone 3 and out.
And if you're watching in Tennessee and you're like, well, the mercy rule, it's a different mercy rule in the state of Georgia. So in Tennessee, anytime there's a 35-point lead,
is it any time? I thought it was in the second half in Tennessee.
I think in Tennessee it can be in the second quarter. I might be wrong on that.
Our research staff is looking into that.
The doctor has to get his phone going. But in the state of Georgia, it is a 30-point second half lead. The coach who is behind has to agree to the running clock.
It's the second half in Tennessee with a 30-point or greater lead. It used to be 35 to start the third quarter, and then they lowered the number down to 30.
A little bit. Okay. Well, in Georgia, it's closer to the Georgia rule then. So I would imagine coming out of the halftime locker room, they will ask Ethan Thompson if he wants that running clock or not. And if he says yes, it'll be that. And if he says no, then won't be that until the fourth quarter. Then if it's still
sideline warning against Lafayette, that is their second of the game. That is a 5-yard mark off. It will be a first down, 10 yards.
A 5-yard penalty for a sideline warning against Lafayette. The ball will go back to the 15-yard line. Scott, I think it's the first time we have ever seen a yardage mark off on a sideline warning. I don't know that we've seen that, at least not this year. All right, 6:30 to go. Lafayette set to take over with a first down. They'll start deep at their own 15-yard line. Dave Keelan is deep into a fireworks stand in a moment. We're going to check in with him coming up here in just a minute. Somebody's got to let him know that, or somebody's got to know not to let him play with matches. Dave Keelan, where are you?
Well, Chris, I'm actually, you know, in Cal Berkeley, they call it Tightwad Hill, but I don't think that's what they call it down here. I'm actually over on the other side of the stadium opposite the press box. This is the place where, I don't know if you see me or not, but this is where they shoot fireworks after every touchdown. So I'm talking here with David Collette. David, tell me, how many shells have you shot so far? Obviously, it's 6 shells so far.
We're starting to get a little low on the shells tonight. We've already shot 6. So we got about 3 more left for this half. So we're going to have to make a trip down to the storage unit to get some more if we want to continue.
I was going to say, you got them on standby. I didn't know if you had to make like a run down to Easter Ridge or anything like that to get some more fireworks. No,
we have some connections at Easter Ridge, but we've got a little storage down here in the equipment room. But I need one of the Gators to come up here and get me up because I don't want to have to run all the way down there.
I'm gonna stick around. You know, if they score, you think I can stick around and maybe light one of these things?
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll put one of these torches in your hand and let you just do whatever you want to.
You really want to trust me with a torch in my hand right now?
Well, I didn't say I would be here when you do it. I said, hey, I'll let you light it, but I'm going to get away.
Gotcha. David Collette, appreciate it, man. Enjoy it. You guys have done a great job. You make it fun to watch a high school game here. This is a nice little addition you have.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Appreciate y'all being out tonight.
Appreciate it. Guys, back to you.
Braden Hudson with the interception of the tip ball. What an effort by Hudson. That was
scooped it right off the ground, didn't he?
We'd call that an incomplete pass. It's 4th down. And with that,
hard to see on that.
No replay. They'll rule it an incomplete pass. Still a heck of an effort by Braden Hudson.
I'm so glad Keelan did that because what you don't know is David Collette and I were neighbors, okay, for years and years and years.
Did he shoot fireworks at you?
He was in charge of our neighborhood fireworks on the 4th of July, and it was one of the most incredible fireworks displays each and every year that I've ever seen. This guy's an expert.
Here's Heritage on the return, trying to find some room to the outside is Luke Fitzsimmons, and Fitzsimmons will set the Generals up in great field position after that return. Keelan was talking about Tightwad Hill. I'm like, I think that's what they call that drive that Scott lives on anyway.
That's exactly what it's called.
Tightwad Hill.
Tightwad Hill, it should be for sure. But going back to David, and just what a great human being. Him and his wife, Holly, the former Holly Spicer. She was a big part of the East Ridge softball dynasty in the mid to late 90s. David kicked for Soddy Daisy, went to Tennessee Tech, was one of their all-time greatest kickers. He actually was entered in the, inducted into the Tennessee Tech Sports Hall of Fame in 2022.
Dead ball, personal foul against the kicking team. Be half the distance. First down.
Let's go back down to Dave Keelan. Dave.
Scott, I will tell you this. You can obviously tell he was good because he had both of his thumbs left, too. I could tell he was really good at his job as a youth. You know, if you can go a 4th of July and have all 10 digits still left, you're doing something right.
I'm telling you, he used to take the time to, like, liquid nail all the cakes, they call them.
Yeah.
Nail that to pallets, take them up into the open area of our neighborhood. I mean, I'm telling you, people would come for miles and miles to see our neighborhood's fireworks show. And it was all David Collette. That guy, man, awesome guy. And like I said, Tennessee Tech Hall of Famer, so Jake Collette has a nice little coach in his dad.
Yeah.
And
no doubt.
You can tell by watching this action tonight. Jake's got a heck of a leg, and he'll probably be playing for somebody on Saturday. Wouldn't surprise me if it was the purple and gold of Tennessee Tech.
From inside the Dr. Pepper maroon zone on a 1st down and 15 for the Heritage Generals. The screen on the near side to Bryan. Bryan needs a block. He is surrounded.
That's the best pursuit of the night by the Lafayette defense. Heritage into the Dr. Pepper maroon zone once again.
2nd down, 12 to go.
And again, Caden Hyde is still not throwing an incomplete pass.
He's living right. His receivers are getting open too. That helps.
From the 14-yard line. There goes Cody Bryant, split out wide to the top of your screen. Smith on the handoff. Nice penetration, knifing through to make the hit for Lafayette. To drop him in was Zaire Grissom.
3rd down.
That'll force a 3rd down for Heritage. Get a look at Grissom. This defense for Lafayette allowing 39 points per game.
Grissom just a sophomore too.
Here's the screen set up again. This time it goes to Killian Smith. We've got a penalty flag at the 5-yard line, so let's hang on here. That is holding on the offense.
Holding on the offense.
Replay 3rd down.
So they'll try it again on a 3rd down. Take the touchdown off the board for Killian Smith.
Did a good job of weaving around the defenders.
Smith with a touchdown run on the last Heritage possession, capped off a 8-play drive. Big return by Fitzsimmons on a punt. Has set Heritage up in great field position here and a chance to hang a half a hundy on the board here with still 3:56 remaining in the 1st half. Mentioned that game going on tonight between Adairsville and Northwest Whitfield. Northwest Whitfield jumping out to an early lead. It's 14-0. Screen thrown up top. Here's Bryan with a stiff arm to the pylon. They'll mark him out at about the 2, it looks like.
Out at about the 2. Tristan Simmons with a really nice block right there. You see him. Then he, of course, like, I'm not holding, but he stepped out right before he jumped in the pylon.
There goes Smith to the left side, and he'll walk in standing up. Touchdown, Heritage.
Chattanooga Dental Care touchdown. Another one for the Generals.
And the fireworks go off again. I guess Dave Keelan got the light one.
They got the gator back, though, so they got more ammunition.
Can't shoot off too many, running low. Not sure what the holdup is. Ethan Thompson out on the field over on the far side talking with the referee tonight at the 25-yard line. I'm not sure what the discussion is. Jake Collette ready to tack on this extra point. Well, whatever it is, Ethan Thompson seems pleased enough with the answer he got from the White Hat. And here's Collette now for the extra point. And we saw Heritage go for two and convert out of the swinging gate formation earlier. Scott, you know, we talked about it. That is one where a lot of times that can be called by the kicker or the holder. They look. If you get the right alignment, you just go for it. That's not something that's called from the sidelines. Killian Smith with the touchdown run, and Heritage leads Lafayette 50-0. 3:34 remaining second quarter.
Sonic $1.99 menu. Live free, eat Sonic.
Nothing. Heritage on top of Lafayette. Still 3:34 to go in the second quarter under a full moon. Chris Goforth, Scott McMahon, Dave Keelan. Dave Keelan did not lose any digits.
Good.
With the
you can see
fingers and thumbs all still intact.
The fireworks remnants makes it a little bit of a Halloween look with that full moon. But we're ready for another Food City kickoff.
A little disappointed we don't get a game on Halloween this year.
I know.
It's November 1st. Yeah, they are. Oh, what a kick by Collette. He'll put it 8 yards deep. Ball will come out to the 20-yard line, and that's where Lafayette will go to work on offense. Want to take a moment again to say thanks to our sponsors tonight. We appreciate Dr. Pepper, Chattanooga Dental Care, TVFCU, Ultimate Roofing, Village Volkswagen of Chattanooga, and RSW.
One more thing about David Collette, and I'll let it go, but he actually had in 2002, had an undrafted free agent tryout with the Indianapolis Colts. So he got a chance to be on, for a couple weeks.
With Pat McAfee?
I think it was Pat McAfee, but it definitely was Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
It was obviously the quarterback at that point in time, but just didn't quite stick. And we all know how hard it is to stick with a team as a kicker in the National Football League.
Edwards in trouble, and he's dropped back inside the 15.
Tackle by number 15, second down, 15 to go.
Lafayette's longest drive tonight has lasted 6 plays. That was their second possession, and it ended in a block punt that was returned for a touchdown. That happened to them twice. First 2 times they touched the ball, they punted, only to see it blocked, and Heritage would run it back for a score. As you get a look at that Heritage defense. The handoff.
Speed.
Bryson Pinson. And Pinson out of bounds.
A freshman. Bryson Pinson got some really good speed. But you see the penalty marker. Just not sure if it was a late hit or late hit out of bounds, possibly. Let's get another look at it. Yeah, the sling down the end will probably get that every single time.
We'll get the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. And a couple of extra yards here for Lafayette.
Personal foul against the general
On the defense.
First down, Randler.
Well, the penalty brings the football across the 45-yard line, marking down at the 47. Pinson comes in motion across the formation. Edwards to throw on the rollout, looking downfield. He'll scramble out of bounds.
No other option. Big pressure from Heritage front. Looking downfield, he did a good job of keeping his eyes up and looking for a target, but just couldn't find one. Well covered by the defensive backs and the defense for Heritage.
Josh Butler chased him into the sidelines. Loss of 7. Ball goes back to the 41. Sweeping here to the near side is Bryson Cleghorn, and Cleghorn dropped for another loss. He'll go back inside the 35-yard line. It's Luke Fitzsimmons.
Just gets one big paw on him and pulls him down. A one-arm tackle takes him off his feet. Nice play by Luke Fitzsimmons. 5'11", 175. And again, Coach Slaughter said he's our best coverage guy, and you see him being able to step up and help on run defense as well.
So a third down and long here. 3rd and 22 for Lafayette as the clock hits the 2-minute mark of the first half. And Heritage shows blitz. Here they come. Edwards, quick throw, dropped, and it's incomplete.
Finley went in motion and was open over there, but the defender bearing down on him just kind of wasn't able to find the handle.
Got a Heritage player that's shaken up. He'll get some attention from the training staff. Give us an opportunity to remind you about our Ultimate Roofing halftime report coming up. Get a look at some first half highlights and a whole lot more. And then in the second half, by the way, we've got our Dave Keelan's got his work cut out for him tonight, trying to pick out our Dr. Pepper player of the game as well as our RSW play of the game. How about that? Good luck with those.
There's a bunch to choose from.
You got a lot. You got a lot to pick from. Well, they're in a good mood at Heritage as the Generals with a 50-0 lead over Lafayette. This is a Region 7 3A matchup tonight. Everybody in the region involved in region play except Ridgeland. Panthers get the night off. Calhoun and Gilmer tangling. We talked about Adairsville and Northwest Whitfield. Of course, Heritage and Lafayette.
And there you have Tucker James Hayes, sophomore defensive tackle with a lower leg issue there. So we hope everything's going to be all right with him.
So Gage Cole comes on to punt. Fitzsimmons and Bryant back deep for a chance to return it. And Cole again gets away a nice kick. Fitzsimmons will watch it bounce at the 35. He'll pick it up at the 30, blows past 2, past 4. Caught from behind now at around the 45-yard line. Boy, he just shot right by 2 guys.
A.J. Moyer with the stop, but he did shoot right by 2 guys. That is, I thought he might just take it and.
The ball kind of took an odd hop
did,
on
didn't
it.
it?
Yeah.
It was odd.
Fitzsimmons with a big return on the last punt by Lafayette. And the Generals have it in good starting field position here at the 47-yard line. And we are going to see a new quarterback and a new running back for Heritage. And they hand it off. The give goes to Isaiah Awatula. And Awatula tries the right side.
New quarterbacks, Cross Williams, number 18. He's a sophomore, 5'9", 130. As you mentioned, Awatula is 5'11", 180, sophomore, number 8. He kind of looks the part. I kind of like the body lean and just the body type.
see another running back. This is Cooper McCrary. It's a guy we thought we might see early on, and it's McCrary. Looking to bounce to the outside. Now he'll cut back. Weaves his way to the 50-yard line. Final few seconds of this second quarter. Beginning to tick down.
Down 6 to go.
It was Ashton Wade that made the stop for Lafayette. And a third down. Caden Foster has checked in. Cross Williams, a quarterback, he comes all the way over to the sideline, gets the play from his head coach in E.K. Slaughter, and then goes back. The play clock shows 0. I don't know if it was ever reset or not. And that will do it. First half comes to a close. Heritage with the 50-0 lead over Lafayette. Scott, they scored early, they scored often, in just about every way imaginable.
Man, I mean, you talk about explosive, like you mentioned, special teams, returning, block kicks and just everything. A little bit of running on the ground, throwing it through the air. Heritage on fire tonight.
They have, look, they've scored twice on the block kicks. They've run for touchdowns. They've thrown for scores. Dave Keelan standing by with the head coach of the Generals, E.K. Slaughter. Dave?
Well, Coach, special team scores 2 touchdowns. Defense pitching a shutout. Your offense playing pretty well. Other than like a celebration penalty and a couple of unsportsmanlike there, I think you're doing pretty well. I'm sure as a coach, though, you probably got something to pick apart. What is it?
Well, I'm pretty mad that our backup running backs didn't get inside the kick on those last 2 runs. But, yeah, no, I'm proud of our guys. And Coach Alexander does a great job of special teams. I mean, he works really hard. Like, we're not just sending people. Like, he works really hard to get the looks, to get those blocks. And the guys have just really played really well. They prepared well for the last couple weeks. And, I'm just proud of them, man.
How do you start the second half? Do you put 2s in this next round?
Oh yeah, we put 2s in that last series. They'll be in the rest of the game. Starters will be out. We got some good 2s that need some time because they're going to be our guys next year. So we're going to try to let those guys get some good Friday night reps and hopefully get better.
Good luck second half.
Thanks, man.
Coach E.K. Slaughter. Guys, back to you.
All right, Dave Keelan on the field with Heritage head coach E.K. Slaughter. Pleased with what he has seen. It's a 50-0 lead for the Generals. Our Ultimate Roofing halftime report coming up next. Dr. Pepper Friday Night Rivals presented by Village Volkswagen of Chattanooga returns to Heritage. Generals up big.
Always be right here with you.
It's the Ultimate Roofing halftime report. Chris Goforth alongside Scott McMahon. Dave Keelan is down on the field. 50-0 Heritage on top of Lafayette. Excited to have Dr. Pepper with us as our title sponsor. Dr. Pepper committed to giving each home school $500 this season for letting us come out and broadcast these games. Plus, if you're in the stands, you just might get some Dr. Pepper swag to take home. Let's send it downstairs to the field. Dave Keelan standing by with Terrence Kimball. Dave?
Who knows, not Chris, on a night like tonight, Dave Keelan might come out in the stands and sit with you. Who knows? But I've also got Terrence Kimball, our representative from Dr. Pepper here tonight. Terrence making his first trip to Friday Night Rivals, one of the North Georgia representatives. Terrence, tell us a little bit about yourself and how long have you been with Coca-Cola and Dr. Pepper?
Yeah, so I've been with United Coca-Cola for 25 years, and we enjoy this partnership with Dr. Pepper, helping out with the community and helping out with these football games. We definitely enjoy it.
So tell me, being able to come out here, you said that you've worked with Coca-Cola and Dr. Pepper, you've done some different capacities, but now you're actually involved in the schools. To be able to come in and interact with them, what does it mean to be able to see the future of our country and our communities and stuff like that, and to be able to interact with them on a daily basis?
So the children are our future, and we just like to be able to help out in the community, man, and be able to support them in any way we can.
You see this firsthand. The $500 donation goes back to these schools. They're able to give back. What does it mean to be a part of a group who's able to give back to the community in that type of capacity?
Man, it's awesome. If we ain't helping the youth, then what are we doing? So it's awesome. We enjoy it.
So tell me about Dr. Pepper. Any new flavor stuff coming out?
I think I'm going to keep that under wraps right now because I don't know if it's time to reveal that just now. So we'll keep our eyes peeled back.
We'll definitely keep an eye on it. That's a Pepper thing. It's a secret right now. So, Terrence, we appreciate you being a part of this. Come back and see us again.
All right. Thank you, man.
Terrence Kimball. Guys, I'll go ahead and send it on over to Chris, who's standing by right now with the National Guard.
Back at the half on Friday Night Rivals. Time for us to visit with our friends at the Tennessee Army National Guard. Sergeant Cosby taking some time to spend a few minutes with us this week. And Sergeant, if you would, take a minute and tell folks what makes the Tennessee Army National Guard different from the other branches of the military.
All right, what makes us truly different outside of our federal mission is our state mission. For the National Guard, we're hometown heroes. Our primary mission is natural disasters, hurricanes, fires, floods, things of that nature. So that's what makes us stand out the most. Even though we have two missions, our primary one is to take care of home.
It's an opportunity to serve right here at home, isn't
Absolutely,
it?
absolutely.
And you guys, obviously, being a part of Friday Night Rivals, committed to being a part of the community.
Absolutely. I grew up here, born and raised, went to East Ridge High School, so this is home for me.
Sergeant, tell folks about the jobs they can get if you're a member of the Tennessee Army National Guard.
Okay, so we have about 150 plus jobs, some that they can do. For myself, I'm 13 Juliet, multiple launch rocket system operations specialist, or 31 Bravo, military police, 88 Mike, truck driver. It goes on and on and on. So we have a vast amount of jobs that anyone that wants to serve can do.
And it's a chance to serve and get your education paid for.
Absolutely, 100%.
All right, thank you, Sergeant. Appreciate your service. We'll look forward to catching up with you again.
Thank you so much.
Sergeant Cosby with us, the Tennessee Army National Guard. You stick around. We've got more as we continue from halftime on Friday Night Rivals. It's mid-October, but it's never too early to start talking about that chase for a championship. The Blue Cross Bowl coming back to Finley Stadium. 3 days of action. 9 state champions will be crowned, and you can catch it all on our sister station, My Network Chattanooga. It starts December the 5th with the Division II state championships, 1A, 3A, and 5A on Friday, 2, 4, and 6A. Go at it on Saturday. It's time for a break. Don't you go too far. Dave Keelan is on the lot at Village Volkswagen of Chattanooga. All that
We're back here on Dr. Pepper Friday Night Rivals presented by Village Volkswagen, and today we are in Village Volkswagen of Chattanooga, and joining me as always is the GM, the man about town, Shannon Harris. You can catch him here or out of Chattanooga, bouncing in between. He's in all places at all times. Shannon, good to have you back on Friday Night Rivals. We appreciate you being a part of this. What's it meant to be a part of Friday Night Rivals this season?
It's been a great partnership. It really has. The exposure we've gotten from it and just being a part of the community, it really has been a great opportunity for us to be a part of it.
Well, this is our hometown Volkswagen dealer, factory direct dealer, just right down the road. A lot of good incentives. Oktoberfest, it's big with Volkswagen. Tell us about that. What kind of incentives can people expect this month?
That's true. October does mean Oktoberfest here at Village Volkswagen and the Audi store. But some of these deals we have, I even had to write some of them down. 24 Jetta SE starting at $21,995. We have 0%. I never thought that would come back. 0% on 60 months on all 24 Tiguans. And you can even get a Tiguan S model for $24,999. Oktoberfest is kicking here at Village VW.
You had to write them down because you had to see it in print for yourself, right? To make sure that was true?
That's right.
Is that what it was?
That's right.
A lot of good things. Come out here, see Shannon, find him, tell him Friday Night Rivals sent you. Get you one of these brand new Volkswagens. I'm sure Shannon can get you a good deal along the way, right?
Oh yeah, there's no doubt. We have 50 of those Tiguans in stock right now.
And you got still got a lot of that inventory across the street at Audi.
Oh, over 80.
More than you've had
ever.
He's sweating, folks. He's got to move some of these cars. He's making deals every day. Come see Shannon Harris here at Village Volkswagen of Chattanooga and Audi of Chattanooga. Stick around. There's plenty more Friday Night Rivals to come right after this.
Under $30,000.
Back on the Ultimate Roofing halftime report. Chris Goforth, Scott McMahon, Dave Keelan with you from Heritage High School, where the Generals have the 50-0 lead over the Lafayette Ramblers. Let's get a look at some highlights of this game, as it was all Heritage in this first half. They got it going early. Their first offensive series, they're able to get it going on the ground. Noah Pierce got the start at running back. Couple of tough runs from him. It would be Brody James getting the touchdown run, covering 15 yards, and then it's first turnover of the game. The block by Simmons, scooped up by Chapelier. Look at the big defensive play. Heritage dominated things along the line of scrimmage in this first half. And the second block punt by Tristan Simmons. This one scooped up by Cody Bryant, and he would take it in for the touchdown. Third turnover of the half, as Simmons would also pick off the pass. And Caden Height would drop it off short. Noah Pierce takes it in for the score. Height again, throwing for 6. Middle of the field, he's got Cody Bryant. Bryant with the block punt return for a score. He caught a pass, and here's the way it would end. A couple of touchdown runs for Killian Smith. And it is 50-0 Heritage here at the half on our Ultimate Roofing halftime report. After the game, be sure to catch a full hour tonight of Whose Line Is It Anyway, followed by Joan. That's coming up tonight after our action here at Heritage. And then, of course, Friday Night Rivals kicks off your football weekend here on the CW, Fox Chattanooga, News Channel 9, My Network TV. It is a full weekend of football. College football getting underway tomorrow. We'll have action starting at noon tomorrow. Miami and Louisville, Nebraska and Indiana getting underway early. Alabama and Tennessee tomorrow at 3:30 on News Channel 9, followed by Georgia and Texas. You'll want to get on the couch early and stay late for all of those. Colorado and Arizona, Central Florida and Iowa State on Fox Chattanooga. And then over on the CW Chattanooga, or here on the CW Chattanooga, it's Hawaii against Washington State. And then a late night kick, UNLV visits Oregon State. That is a 10 o'clock kickoff. And then the weekend for football continues Sunday, 1 o'clock. The Seahawks are in Mercedes-Benz Stadium to take on the Atlanta Falcons at 4:25. The Kansas City Chiefs are in San Francisco to take on the 49ers. A couple of teams that have postseason aspirations. Actually, who are we kidding? All 4 of them with some postseason aspirations. And then next Friday night, make sure you join us. We'll go to the roof next week. North Murray, as they welcome in Kahala Creek. We'll hit the air at around 7 o'clock. Kickoff coming up about 7:05. ChattanoogaCW.com. You can watch it on YouTube at News Channel 9 or the old-fashioned way. Join us here on the Chattanooga CW. Dave Keelan down on the field tonight. Dave, this has been really a tremendous night. Weather-wise tonight, we talked about it, little nip in the air. Kind of feels like football weather. Heritage having a great night with this 50-0 lead. But I tell you, both of these bands tonight, Dave, they've both done a fantastic job.
They have, and that's the thing. The great thing about high school football is the halftime entertainment of these two bands. Heritage has a fantastic band. You can tell they put a lot of work into this. They have put on a nice performance. Lafayette was on the field before it, but yes, the weather, it's finally football season, and I broke out the big overcoat tonight. I didn't want to chance it. Last week I thought it could get a little cool, so I brought out the big parka tonight, and I'm quite glad I did. But I'm enjoying the halftime show down here.
Dave, you spoke with E.K. Slaughter there going into the locker room at halftime. He talked about using all of his twos. I would expect we're going to see some, not just twos, we'll see some 3s and 4s as we go through this second half for Heritage with this big lead. But I expect the same thing for Lafayette. It's a great opportunity for both of these teams to be able to get some young guys out there and give them some opportunities.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing you try to strive for as a coach. If you're Coach Slaughter, you want to take advantage of these opportunities, because there's nothing that prepares a player more than actual live game action. You don't get that in scrimmages in early season, so to get that into an late October feeling, and you can also explore the depth, because the thing is like if they can see how they're reacting and that stuff, those guys could help in a playoff push down the road, and being able to step up if they have some injuries down the way, building that depth and this next man up mentality. And I think that's kind of what Coach Slaughter looks for in this situation. And with Coach Thompson, I'm sure they're probably trying to figure out who's going to be the next man up for them in their situation. So it'll be beneficial for both teams.
That wraps it up for our Ultimate Roofing halftime report. We've got the second half coming up after the break. Here's a look at action from across the country. You're watching Dr. Pepper Friday Night Rivals, presented by Village Volkswagen of Chattanooga.
The best Thursday Night Lights and Friday Night Rivals highlights from across the country.
Curtis doesn't like what he sees, takes for himself now towards the left sideline, still on his feet, still up. He twirls in and throws over the goal line. Jared Curtis with his third touchdown of the night as Nashville Christian.
NC State kickoff. And that ball comes loose, and Sanderson recovers.
Throws deep. Blair brings it in. Jadon Blair wrestling to the 15.
Oh, Notre Dame fans, you gotta love seeing that one. Jadon Blair.
Ball in the air, and it's intercepted. Oh. Coming down with it is Emilion Johnson, who made the pick and takes it back to the 41-yard line.
Carpenter looks to throw. He will. It's intercepted in the end zone by the Red Devils. And bringing it out, looking for a big return. Here comes St. Clairsville off to the races. All the way back for the score. Gage Wolf.
Now he steps up, wants to go for it all up the right side and pull it down at the 20. Inside the 20 again is Katori Marion.
Getting ready to get the third quarter underway here from Heritage High School, where the Generals have the 50-0 lead over the Ramblers from Lafayette. Dr. Pepper, Friday Night Rivals, presented by Village Volkswagen of Chattanooga. Heritage took advantage of 3 Lafayette turnovers. I think they scored every time they had the ball except that last possession, Scott. They were just content to run out some clock. Dave Keelan and I talked about it a moment ago. It's an opportunity for both of these coaches now. You got a chance to play some youngsters. Give some young guys, you get a look at E.K. Slaughter there, chance to get some young guys some experience under these Friday Night Lights.
Sure. And E.K. mentioned it on the interview heading to the locker room there at the half. You know, these guys that are 2s or whatever, even 3s, are going to be really counted on for next year. So you're just constantly looking forward and trying to do the right things by these guys that put in just as much blood, sweat, and tears in practice as the starters do. So, as you mentioned, and that goes for both teams, just trying to build depth for future teams down the road for each individual program.
Bryson Pinson, Jordan Ridley, the 2 men back deep for Lafayette, as we'll see Jake Collette on our Food City kickoff as we get this third quarter underway. We'll see if we get a running clock. Dave Keelan tells me we will get a running clock in this second half. So we will move quickly through these third and fourth quarters. Collette booms it just shy of the goal line. And on the return, it's Jordan Ridley. Ridley to the far side. Stays on his feet. Tries to cut back towards the middle of the field. And he'll be wrestled down there. Well, Dave talked about the importance of having guys playoff ready as you head towards the end of the season and into the month of November and the playoffs in the state of Georgia, which will get underway on Friday, November the 8th. But, you know, Scott, for Heritage, really the playoff push for them, it started tonight in these final three games. If you lost tonight against Lafayette, it was going to be all over, basically, for Heritage. They needed this one, and then you've got at Calhoun and home against Adairsville the next 2 weeks to close out the regular season. And those are games that, look, that's the two teams sitting at the top of the standings.
And they have been, you know, especially Calhoun, traditionally real powerhouse in the state of Georgia. So when they came into this region, you know, everybody was like, uh-oh, here they come. And that's going to be somebody that you know, if you're going to be the region champs, you're going to have to knock off the big dog. And, of course, Calhoun, they got a tight end that's committed to Texas. But they also have a sophomore quarterback that has kind of grown here as we've gotten deeper into this year.
Kalis Finley, he'll pull a tackle forward up to about the 35-yard line. We had Calhoun some years back on Friday Night Rivals.
Calhoun and Dalton, if I believe.
Yeah,
if I
wasn't it a tight end they had that went to Clemson? Balin Spector.
Yeah,
that's who it was.
Defensive back.
Balin Spector, that's right. Yeah, he's in the NFL now. Two backs stay in the block, low throw, and an incomplete pass intended for Porter Sintel.
Porter Sintel, a junior, 4'5", 940 kind of guy. Probably needs a little bit more size, Coach Thompson told us, but he is super quick. And if that ball's a little bit off the turf more, he may have been able to do some damage.
Track athlete at Lafayette. They find some different ways to be able to get him the ball as well. He's carried it on some jet sweeps this year a couple of times. Lafayette had three offensive linemen go down with season-ending injuries, including two sophomores that they expected to start. Here's Kalis Finley. Finley finds some room into General's territory. Kalis Finley gets inside the 40-yard line.
Showing you his athletic prowess. CHI Memorial first down. Finley gets a nice hold by that right side of the offensive line. Stop made by Eli Thacker. Also Hunter Zanity was in there on the stop. There you get a good look at Kalis Finley, senior, super athletic. As I think we talked about earlier, plays basketball too. Has been on the CW for hoops and the gridiron.
Yeah. And you talk to folks around the Lafayette program, and his head coach Ethan Thompson did this week as well, just rave about the type of person that he is, as well as being a heck of an athlete. His head coach feels like his future in college could be as a safety at the next level. He's a bigger guy than what you imagine at 6'3" and 190 pounds. I mean, he's got some size on him. Coach Thompson told us, well, 6'3", he kind of runs a little bit standing up. That is not Ethan Thompson, the head coach at Lafayette. Two receivers, go one to a side. Here is the give again. It's Finley to the 40-yard line.
Number 4, Kalis Finley on the carry. Tackle made by number 8, Isaiah Alakula.
Lafayette with 3 turnovers in the first half. They had an interception. They had 2 punts blocked, and both ran back for scores. After tonight for Lafayette, this is their 9th game of the season. They will take a week off next week and then close out the season at home against Calhoun on November the 1st. Look at Edwards and Finley. Those two guys have alternated time this year at quarterback, and when one of them is not playing quarterback, he plays running back, and that's where we've seen Kalis Finley tonight. Edwards shows a little bit of escapability and has to throw it away on the near sideline, as again he has been harassed all night going back for Centel. An incomplete pass.
You know, we talked about Ethan Thompson and him taking over the here we get another look at it, taking over the program, first-year coach at Lafayette, and how you know, they wanted to be able to build with some young players or whatever. Kalis Finley is the only returning starter for the offense in Lafayette. Now, you're going to look at me and say, well, you know, after tonight, they're going to be 0-9. So that shows, yes, it does show, but that shows you how much the future is built on these guys and getting experience this year and maybe taking the pounding some. But it should pay off in the long run, and I hope it does for Ethan Thompson. He was very, very easy to work with and very good to us, trying to get the information for tonight's game, and hope they can get Lafayette football back to where the heights that it's been in the past, in the history. They've had some tremendous players throughout the decades, and I'd like to see them get back there.
Porter Centel with a catch, didn't quite get far enough to get that first down. Midway through the third quarter, Heritage with a 50-0 lead over Lafayette. Dr. Pepper Friday Night Rivals presented by Village Volkswagen of Chattanooga. General's Ball when we return.
ESPN Cleveland 101.3 FM.
Heritage with a football and a 50-0 lead. Under 6 minutes to go. Third quarter, stick around. We've got our Shrunk 3D postgame report. Dave Keelan will be on the field with a winning head coach. That's coming up after the game. We'll have our play of the game coming up in a few. That's presented by RSW, and our Dr. Pepper player of the game all coming up as well. As the handoff goes to Cooper McCrary. E.K. Slaughter told us this week he felt like the running back position for his team a little bit of a work in progress. And Scott, I think maybe he's found some answers. They're going to get Brody James back from an injury. Braden Slaughter, their top two backs, should be healthy. They expect Braden Slaughter back. Very likely that he returns next week. Cooper McCrary, we've seen. They've got some good action tonight out of Killian Smith. We've seen Isaiah Awatula.
But just building that depth, like you're talking about, is just key. I mean, that is a smack from Lafayette.
That's Finley.
Yeah, that's Finley, of course. But, you know, to your point, okay, the best running back. The best running back could be Braden Slaughter. No question about that. He was a starter at the beginning of the season. He contributed a bunch. But, boy, if you've got 4 or 5 different options, especially a couple guys that can catch it out of the backfield, that's another CHI Memorial first down for Heritage. But if you can find, you know, some guys that are used to getting a little bit lathered up and get in the game, I don't think that can hurt you at all.
Well, we've seen Noah Pierce get a couple of carries tonight. I believe that's Hunter Zanetti. Oh, check that. That was Isaiah Owatula. It was 8 and not 6.
Owatula, like I said earlier, I just like the way he is put together. 5'11", 180 pounds, and he's got that nice lean that you want in a running back.
He will check out. Cooper McCrary back in. Cross Williams playing the second half at quarterback. He took over late in the first half, replacing Caden Height. Height done for the evening on a perfect night passing. Did not have an incompletion. Here's the toss out to McCrary. Tries the stiff arm. Not able to break out of the tackle, and he'll be thrown for a loss back at the 40-yard line.
Tackle was Ashton Wade, sophomore, number 26 on the stop.
Third down.
Hey, it's going to be punt going through him. Matt, they got a new ball punt.
Third down and long now for the Generals. Third down, about 13 needed for the first. The 40-yard line. A screen thrown up top, and he is in trouble. Needs a block and gets one. Gets down the far sideline. Great job getting out of bounds. That was Colton Fletcher.
Colton Fletcher, another sophomore. You see the ball thrown behind the line of scrimmage, so once he makes the catch, picks up a nice block. Able to gain some pretty decent yardage, just not real close to the first down, so it looks like the Generals will be in punt formation.
Jake Collette will punt it away. And Lafayette will send back Bryson Cleghorn. And Lafayette came after that punt. Cleghorn steps aside, and it'll be down inside the 20-yard line. Lafayette will begin the drive at their own 16. First down and 10 for the Ramblers when play resumes. Heritage in front, 50-0. Dr. Pepper. Friday Night Rivals presented by Village Volkswagen of Chattanooga.
America's largest injury law firm is easy.
Minute 51 to go, third quarter. Heritage on top of Lafayette, 50-0 on our Dr. Pepper scoreboard. Dr. Pepper, Friday Night Rivals, presented by Village Volkswagen of Chattanooga. It is week 8 for us, Scott.
That is
just 2 more to go.
Flown by this year.
Yeah, looking forward to going to North Murray.
North Murray on next Friday, one of the most beautiful settings in all of high school football in our area.
We'll get to see it all from the roof.
Yes, we will. Bring your jacket. And then, of course, South Pittsburgh at Whitwell to end the season. Wow.
How about that little round robin as the toss out goes to Kalis Finley. Finley out across the 20-yard line. He'll drive those legs forward across the 25-yard line, and a nice pickup for Finley. But how about the little round robin that's going to happen here in the end of the season between Chattanooga Prep, South Pittsburgh, and Whitwell? Now, you've got Chattanooga Prep and South Pittsburgh playing tonight.
That's right.
Whitwell gets Chattanooga Prep next week, and then we'll have Whitwell and South Pittsburgh to close things out. And it's South Pittsburgh in the second quarter. They've got a 14-0 lead over Chattanooga Prep right now.
But yeah, the round robin, which is really kind of cool. And Chat Prep story, you know, only third year in existence, and they want to be the upstart program, and they have been really. Everybody's been talking about this year, but boy, if you want to be the man, you got to beat the man. There was a famous guy that once said that, but that is the fact. And you go down to South Pittsburgh, that's going to be the toughest place that they've ever played in the history of that program.
Yeah, that is. Look, anytime you got to go to South Pittsburgh and play, we've both been there. Tough place.
Yeah.
Tough place to play.
Yeah, the pirate ship, and they're firing the cannons, and I mean the railbirds are all over you. It's like a cauldron down there. I'm not sure Chat Prep has ever experienced anything like that. Now, they would have played there, I guess, 2 years ago, but they didn't have, Chat Prep didn't have the team or the talent that they do this year.
Illegal formation on the offense. Too many men in the backfield. That penalty is declined. The result of the play, second down.
So it sets up a second down and long after that penalty. But you talk about that little round robin to end the season. Of course, you don't know, I guess, going into it that maybe you had an idea, but I don't know that you know those were going to be the three best teams in that region. But, boy, it brings some interest late in the year.
Yes, it does.
I mean, it brings some interest. Same thing going on in this region with these two teams in 7-3A. You know, we talked about it a moment ago with Heritage making that push for the playoffs, road trip to Calhoun next week, and then close it out against Adairsville. There's the toss out to Kalis Finley. Finley gets across the 25.
Number 4, Kalis Finley on the carry.
Got an update for you on Northwest Whitfield. Northwest Whitfield in action tonight against Adairsville, and a 17-14 lead for the Bruins in that one. So try to keep you updated on that. Final third quarter beginning to tick away. Handoff on the end around goes to Porter Centel, and Centel will cut it up inside, and he'll break a couple of tackles. That's not Centel on that carry. It's Bryson Cleghorn. And we'll have some pushing and shoving to end this third quarter of play. We go to the fourth quarter. Tempers flare. Heritage with a 50-0 lead over Lafayette. Dr. Pepper Friday Night Rivals presented by Village Volkswagen of Chattanooga. The TVFCU scoreboard shows a 50 spot for the Heritage Generals. Stick around after the action for the Shrunk 3D postgame report. Dave Keelan, he'll be on the field with E.K. Slaughter. We had offsetting penalties, little pushing and shoving there after a a big play. We'll switch ends of the field. Flags thrown against both. And here is the give. It goes to Finley, and Kalis Finley breaks a couple of tackles. Finley finds some room. Finley on his feet and out of bounds as he gets inside the 25. Mark him down at the 23-yard line.
Again, Finley, just a great opportunity as a senior to move on to the college ranks, play a little bit on Saturday. You mentioned potentially moving to a safety type role, defensive back at the collegiate level. I mean, on a run stop and from a safety position, I don't think he'll have any problem. Pretty big frame, kind of a little bit of a nasty attitude. You can just tell by the way he runs. Does pick up the CHI Memorial first down, but I like the future of Kalis Finley at the next level.
Yeah, Coach Thompson talked a little bit about how high he runs. Of course, he's, you know, that's 6 feet 3 inches coming at you.
Yeah.
You don't see too many 6 foot 3 inch running backs anymore. You know, I guess Derrick Henry's around that size, but he's what, 250?
Yeah, he's ridiculous. He's a freak.
They talk about guys running high. I always think about Eric Dickerson. You know, that was always the knock on Eric Dickerson as well. He runs straight up. Well,
yeah, as he runs by you and over you. And
worked out pretty well for him, I think.
I'm surprised that he hasn't, you know, have any talks, and maybe he does, about playing tight end. You know, you put him at about 235 at 6'3", and he's going to be hard to handle.
Yeah, you get him in the college weight room and at the training table. Let that young man eat for a year and see what he can do. Finley again gets another carry. You know, you talk about, we've seen him in football, we've seen him in basketball. He is one of the outstanding athletes in this area. I mean, he has had a tremendous high school career. Lafayette playing a little deliberate here. Here's the snap and the screen. Complete on the far side. Not able to get downfield. Did not get the first down. It's going to bring up a 4th down. Well, for Lafayette, it was a young and inexperienced roster coming into this season. Coach Thompson said we really didn't get, he was an assistant coach here a season ago at Lafayette. He said we really didn't get a lot of our juniors into games a year ago to give guys opportunity and to gain some experience. He said we didn't do that a lot. Now he's really excited, Scott. He talked to us at length about how excited he is for this sophomore class. He's got 27 sophomores on this roster at Lafayette as Kalis Finley will charge forward inside the 15. He'll go to about the 11-yard line, and that's a first down.
And those sophomores are getting a lot of playing time. Now, again, you're taking your lumps here this season, but again, it should pay off in, you know, next year and a year down the road.
Yeah, they could have 9 starters back on offense.
That's right.
Next year. You know, they would lose Kalis Finley, obviously.
Ben Foley, their right tackle, is also a senior, but those are the only 2 seniors on offense.
Sintel gets down to the 1-yard line. That's a touchdown. Delayed call by the official. Thought they were going to mark him down at the 1, but Porter Sintel gets in for the Chattanooga Dental Care touchdown, and Lafayette for the first time tonight is on the board.
And that's got to be exciting because nobody wants to get shut out. So it was a great effort on that drive to put points on the board, whether you're relying on Finley or giving it to other guys. You get on the board, and at least you don't get shut out.
7:58 remaining in the 4th quarter. Gage Cole on to attempt the extra point. And Cole's kick is good, and it is 50-7. Heritage with a lead. Lafayette on the scoreboard as the Ramblers put a drive together. They bring it down the field. It's Porter Sintel taking it in for the touchdown. Dr. Pepper, Friday Night Rivals, presented by Village Volkswagen of Chattanooga. Back to Heritage after this. It's time for our Dr. Pepper Player of the Game. We see you, Tristan Simmons. Blocking 2 punts tonight. Both of them were returned for touchdowns. That was the first blocked punt attempt. Here comes the second one. Smacks it right into the turf. Cody Bryant picks it up, and he'll scoot in for the score. Tristan Simmons would also intercept a pass. That's how you get player of the game, Scott. Block a couple of punts, intercept a pass, make a bunch of tackles. Tristan Simmons, our Dr. Pepper player of the game.
And those guys were just from the beginning, excuse me, those guys just from the beginning were just from the jump were absolutely intense and ready to go. So kudos to Coach E.K. Slaughter and their entire coaching staff for having these guys, don't come out and sputter around and mess around. Put these guys away early, and that's exactly what Heritage Generals did tonight.
What's up to my moms? What's up to my granny? What's up to all the fans?
Tristan Simmons had himself a big night tonight for his Generals. Heritage set to improve tonight. They'll go to 5-3 with this win. We talked about what is to come for them. They've got a rough one next week, a road trip to Calhoun. The Jackets off to a 3-0 start. They're taking on Gilmer. It's 3-0 in region play. They're taking on Gilmer tonight. As Heritage goes on the ground, as we get things underway midway through this fourth quarter. Mercy rule is in effect, so we've got a running clock. Mercy rule went into effect by virtue of a 30-point or greater lead to begin the third quarter, or at any time in the second half. Both coaches have to agree to it. In the third quarter, now in the fourth quarter, you get a 30-point or greater lead. The clock just goes. You have no say. Cross Williams in at quarterback, throws the screen. Slipping away from one man is Colin Fletcher. Fletcher heads way back across the field. He needs some blocks. He's in trouble. And Fletcher is dropped down. That's one thing we have seen from E.K. Slaughter before over the years, Scott, is, look, he's going to put his substitutes in. They're still going to play their style, though. They're going to run their system.
Yeah, because they need to know it for years, seasons down the road.
Yeah, he's not going to get away from what they do and what they do well.
And throughout his tenure here at Heritage, like we said, 11 years he's been now, they did a really good job of balance. They've always had really talented receivers and a quarterback, but they've always had a really good, strong run game, too. They've never kind of got more, maybe night in and night out, they'll have 60-40 or whatever. But for the most part, it's 50-50 run pass.
And a first down run for Heritage. Slaughter has taken the Generals to 8 straight playoff appearances. They're on their way for number 9 as they get a little closer to a playoff appearance with a win tonight. Talked about those 2 big games coming up for them to close out the year. We've got 2 big ones for us to close things out as well. We'll head to North Murray next week.
Can't wait. Love that place.
North Murray, Cahulla Creek. Always a good time to See the fighting Lad McConkeys. We'll stop and start. On the run by Cooper McCrary. And a penalty flag comes out.
You know, when we did have maybe even 2 games that Lad McConkey played in at North Murray.
On the offense, be 10 yards from the spot of the foul.
You knew he was going to be something special because he played at like every position. You know, you knew the guy was football knowledgeable and all that kind of stuff. But who would have ever thought he would have had, when we watched him in high school, would have had the career that he has had, 2-time national champion with Georgia, and obviously a high draft pick with the Los Angeles Chargers. Almost said San Diego, but
I'm with you.
Incredible. I mean, just what an incredible, great story for the communities of North Georgia. Yes, you can do it. You don't have to be from Atlanta. Now, you're going to put in the work, and you're going to be told no a bunch. But if you keep on working hard and just, you know, keep on trying to live that dream, great things can happen. And Lad McConkey is a living, breathing example of that.
I asked. Yeah. I mean, Georgia was the only offer, and the offer came after Kirby Smart came to watch him play basketball. You know, Kirby came, watched him play basketball, and he goes, this kid's such a competitor. I got to have him.
Yeah.
I got to have him just because of how he played. And, Scott, that goes back. You talk about Ladd and all the positions that he played at North Murray. There's a bad snap. And Heritage will fall on it and cover it back at around the 15-yard line. Goes back to something we talked about a moment ago, how coaches now, they're going to find ways to get the best player on the field, regardless of position, and find ways to get him the ball. Lad McConkey played running back. He played the H position. He played quarterback. He was a wide receiver. They found ways to get him on the field and get him the football because kid worked his tail off and was an incredible athlete.
And when in big positions, he made big plays. I mean, just a tremendous story. Just, you know, fantastic. Always been a big Lad McConkey fan. Just
he's an easy guy to root for.
Well, and then when he got to Georgia, if you remember, they had so many 4- and 5-star receivers, and all of a sudden, through some injury, but mostly, again, being outworked, all of a sudden, Lad McConkey's a starter, right? And you're like, he had 0 stars. I don't even know. He may have had a negative star. I mean, that is just a fantastic story. It'll always be one of my favorite stories of guys that we have been fortunate to cover here on Friday Night Rivals on the CW. Obviously, Jahmyr Gibbs is another one.
Right. My guy, Roddy Nabulsi, who's covered Georgia for a long time as a writer, Roddy told me that summer, I guess it was after fall camp. It started August, early September, whatever, before Georgia played their first game, Lad's freshman year. He said, I'm telling you, they're not going to be able to keep the kid off the field.
No.
They're not going to be able to keep him off the field. He's just, you know, every time he's out there, things happen. Sky-high punt. And Lafayette will take over. 1:48 to go in this one. Heritage with a 50-7 lead over Lafayette. We'll return after this on Dr. Pepper Friday Night Rivals, presented by Village Volkswagen of Chattanooga.
Visit us at ChattanoogaDentalCare.com.
Time for our RSW play of the game. And here it comes. He was our player of the game, Tristan Simmons, playing a big part in our play of the game. He blocked the punt, scooped up by Cody Bryant, and then get down, boys.
The water sprinkler. Revising, you said, ref. I've seen enough. You can't do that. It looks too choreographed.
Come on.
I think y'all talked about that at lunch.
Come on. Let them play. It didn't hurt anybody. First down for Heritage, or for Lafayette, rather. And the football is on the ground. It goes out of bounds. So Ramblers will maintain possession. Well, nobody is we talked about Ladd McConkey because we're going to North Murray next week. I don't know that anybody is a bigger Ladd McConkey fan than our guy, Dave Keelan.
Yes. Yes. Riding a heater. I like it.
But is Ladd on your fantasy team? Oh no. Final few seconds of this game.
Apparently we'll get another David Collette fireworks display here at the end.
Edwards
from what I've been told. Yeah, you got to have the grand finale, right?
Looks like we're going to have a stoppage in play.
A dead ball, personal foul on the offense.
Well, that'll be a big mark off here on this fourth down. They'll take it half the distance. This was a 50-0 game at the half. Porter Sintel with a touchdown run with 7:58 to go here in the fourth for the lone score for the Lafayette Ramblers.
Fourth down.
Lafayette will take next week off. They close out the season at home against Calhoun. On the fourth down, they will kick it away. Gage Cole on to punt, and he won't have to. Heritage with a 50-7 win over the Lafayette Ramblers tonight. Let's get a look at our Scott's Furniture scoring summary, and you see 5 touchdowns in the first quarter for the Heritage Generals. They came out roaring. 5 touchdowns, a 2-point conversion. They added 2 more touchdowns in the second quarter, and Lafayette found the end zone with a run by Sintel in the fourth quarter. Dave Keelan is standing by. He'll visit with the winning head coach, E.K. Slaughter, when we return after this on Dr. Pepper Friday Night Rivals, presented by Village Volkswagen of Chattanooga. Back to Heritage after this.